Hey everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Quee, as ever. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing, for commenting, for liking, for going onto our Patreon, to, going onto our Redbubble shop as well, to following us on Twitter at BattlerapreSume, getting in touch, battlerapresume@gmail.com. I've just thrown a lot of information at you there, but I'm sure you listened to many of these episodes before. You know all this sort of stuff. It's in the description. Just want to say, all together, go on the YouTube and, go back through. There's loads and loads of episodes there, loads of discussions and previews and recaps and me interviewing people and, whatever, all that good stuff. So check out the channel, all that sort of stuff. But, really excited to get into today's guest, one of the, most exciting people who's no, for sure, man. I mean, you laugh, but it's Jay Dillon. How's it going, man?
Yeah, not too bad. How about yourself? How's things?
Yeah, very well, man. Very, very good to have you on. And we've got to start with watching a lot of your battles, and one of the things that always comes up is the homophones. The
homophone. yeah, the homophones. Yeah.
Like that is your style. Like, okay, a lot of battlers use it. Harry Baker probably most notably.
Yeah, Harry's got some that I wish I had. A couple of them. Yeah, Harry's good. There's a few. A lot of people use them a little bit, but it's kind of my thing in a sense because it's constantly going through my head. But everyone has a couple of them. Definitely, Harry.
I mean, like, I love it, and I always ask people on the show, I'm like, what is it about wordplay? Why is it that just slight puns and, like they're just brilliant, you can't get, you know what I mean? You just come up with something, and it's just, like, when you said to one, for example, ODing in the Odeon, when you said that, I was just like, that's genius. I'm like, I wish I thought of that. Like, what is it, though? Why are you, and battle rap in general, so obsessed with this thing?
I don't know. I mean, I think about that a lot, to be honest with you. And I think because some of them, I guess I've got one or two I've had around for 3 or 4 battles at least, which might be garbage. And I think that's why I've not used it. I'm not sure. And what it is the two rhymes, it's the same sound, but they don't make any sense together. Whereas Odeon and the Odeon sort of makes sense. It's a bit of a weird one, but it sort of has some kind of correlation. The same with I had one against J Red where it was something about oaf. I'm good with money, I'm au fait. You borrow from your girl, you au fait. So it's sort of the same, if you can think of the contrived ways to put it together, then that makes it funny, but I don't know, sometimes it's garbage. So there's a couple I've been hanging on to, and it's like, no, not yet. Well,
maybe never. I was thinking back when I was watching this, like, the 2 Ronnies, like 4 candles. It's such an old thing, isn't it? I mean, in Shakespeare, there's like homophone stuff. Like, it's existed forever.
Yeah. I think it's a weird one, isn't it? It's like just the joy of hearing the similar sound, the slightly different meaning, and it just messes with your brain a little bit or something. But it's, God knows, I don't know. It's a weird one.
Well, I mean, we're going to get into hundreds of them in this episode, and they are great. Like, as before battling, I was, still am, but really into poetry, spoken word sort of stuff. And it kind of has, that.
Who'd you like in that? Who's your favourite? Anyone contemporary?
Well, contemporary. I'm trying to think. Really, yeah. There's quite a few. There's a guy called Antosh Wojciech, who's kind of a sort of Polish guy. He's kind of like a London Polish guy. But I'm like very much into like classical poetry. Like, I really like Byron and Norman McCaig and stuff. But we're here for bars, Jay. And I guess I should start off like the name Jay Dillon. Was that just a very obviously simple choice there to call yourself that?
Well, the Dillon is part of my is like a family name, if you know what I mean. It's on my mum's side, so yeah, that's an actual surname. It's not my it's not my passport name, but it is pretty much my surname to some degree. And Jay is just short for John, which is my real name. But Jay is, a lot of people get Jay anyway. So, and Jay Dillon, and it's like Jay Dillon, Jay Dillon. Sorry, he's a legend as well. So I'm trying to steal a little bit of his shine to some degree.
I didn't actually see that. But I mean, this is going to be a learning experience for us all. And like, talk to me about battling then. Like, how did you first get into? How did you first get aware of this thing?
I mean, the first ones I saw, I think I must have seen, I remember years ago someone saying, I love YouTube, which must have been a long, long time ago, and I didn't know what it was. And they like showed me, flicked on YouTube, and then we saw those ones. It must have been like an '06, and it was like archaic freestyling in something. I don't know what that was. I think it was the WRCs, maybe, was it? It was archaic and Chalk and Saint.
That was Spin the Mic with Respect BA and that, yeah.
Yeah, they were the first ones I saw, and I thought, "Ooh, what's this?" Because I'd seen the 8 Mile a few years beforehand, but that was a different sort of thing, and it wasn't the UK, if you know what I mean. So seeing that, and then I saw the next ones after that. I saw Respect BA 2-on-2s with someone as well with
Yeah.
Stig.
Oh man.
And then I didn't see anything for a long time. I liked that, but it wasn't quite the same. It was like a briefer thing, if you know what I mean. Like you throw them on and you didn't get into the characters in the same way. And then a couple of years down the line, I saw O'Shea versus Sensor, the first one. And I was like, fuck. Because that was the first written one. I think that was the first written one I'd seen.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that it was written. I know some people didn't like that at first, but I thought it was cool. I was like, fuck, this is different. Yeah. Well, Sense had some questionable stuff.
Right, yeah, no.
It was edgy, but it was definitely questionable. But, say like, not to say there's no rules to it anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. His first round especially is just like... I mean, Scouts, especially considering, yourself kind of some real...
Yeah, he went all the way, he went all the way with it. He definitely dug every whatever bits out of that angle. But then again, he did the second one, when they replayed it, he'd sort of... Not say he apologised, but he explained him. He was, and he wasn't still condoning. He wasn't still, it was just an angle. So
no.
I'm not trying to preach anything.
I mean, by the time this episode would have came out, I actually had Censor on, and that will be out on the channel for a while, and we sort of spoke about that in depth. So that was interesting. But
I mean, he's not the only one to do questionable stuff. There's tons of things that have been a bit funny. People have had tons of funny stuff. So
yeah. But I mean, your own style isn't. You're not going to be doing Censor style bars. Really, it is a bit more playful. Is that just I guess that's who you are. You're quite an easygoing.
Yeah,
sort of...
I mean, I'm just not. I don't know. I like to wind people up, but it's just to keep it lighthearted, never too personal. Although the best ones, the best reactions probably have been things when it has been a little bit real. Like I didn't call out Pedro when there was that weird fight thingy in the when I mentioned it, and some of my jokes were about that. But it's so I'm not saying like you got knocked out, making it, and that wouldn't be my way to go. But it's certainly maybe do a silly little mention of it or anything really. Or if I was getting to go against Dank Schrader again, I wouldn't be too explicit, but I'd still, you'd Bobby Rex's angles, I guess, on it. Maybe, or maybe not, I don't know, but yeah.
And so this is quite, you watch, quite a while ago then you saw, Archaic Chalk and then your O'Shea Censor and stuff. You debut, sort of the summer of 2013. Were you wanting to battle for a while, or was it a quick thing, or?
Oh yeah, for a while, because I don't know when the O'Shea one came out, but do you know when that was? Like 2010 maybe?
O'Shea Censor, yeah, it'd be like 09, 010.
09 was it? Yeah, so I think I saw it soonish after that, and then for the next couple of years I changed from, up to that point I'd been rapping on beats and, like everyone, the normal sort of thing, and then I changed to try and do what they were doing. So I was watching all the Chronicle, and Einstein I think was one of the early guys, and all those early Don't Flop ones then, and then I started trying to copy that style for at least 2 years. Still doing songs on beat, but not in the same way, starting to move over to that. And then I was sending like little videos to try and get on Don't Flop. But I didn't get anything back until I heard from Get Slated, which was like the Geordie one, well, sort of Geordie South Street in the northeast, which was good people.
Yeah. It's a nice little artifact, that league. I think it went offline for a while, but now it's good to see it's
weird.
back.
I don't know why it went offline. I don't know if it was like a sponsorship thing or something, or someone's channel. They shut it down. I've no idea, but I'm glad to see it back though. And all the views were still there as well, which is cool.
Yeah. And there were quite a few big battles on there. Like, there was, Soul versus Yunnan, the sort of original one as well. So there was some cool stuff. But we get to the, first battle here, your debut against Stotty.
Stotty, I heard them rumours about your bird, and I know they got to be true. I heard your bird got jungle fever, and she sucked a cockatoo. She got a gift with a gobbling and dropping to her knees. It's like a tough tennis match how she got my top seed. But similar to a Hindu, I don't look for beef, but your girl couldn't be Muslim, she got pork in her teeth.
Yeah, he was no, go on, sorry.
No, what were you going to say? He was...
No, like it was weird because I'm not, I would have just battled anyone because I'd say I've been for a couple of years, I've been blasting to get on it, and then he had like 10,000 views or something, 40,000 views on like a sort of house MCing thing. It was really weird, but it was cool. Like, because he does that, I think that's quite popular in the northeast. Well, at that point, like dance music, MCing over dance music, and it was weird because I didn't really know what to expect because that's what I'd seen from him. He had a couple of little battles as well, actually, to be fair. But it was good. It was cool.
Yeah, and this is the first anniversary of Get Slated. Your music plays over the top. No warning.
Yeah. My pal makes that beat, which is I think because I won the battle. I think because I won the battle, I got to put my song on it or something like that, which was quite cool. It's like an old school. I don't know if they do that much anymore with any of the battle leagues, but that was like a cool little gimmick they had going there. They do occasionally, I guess. Although Mr. Twister's got his song on our one, so I don't know if that means he beat me. I'm not sure. I hope not. I hope that's not it. I don't know. Maybe he paid him. I hope he paid him.
Yeah. And the Get Slated, it looks a bit like a sort of reconditioned Weatherspoons from the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. It was in like a place called South Shields, which is a town between sort of Newcastle and Sunderland. And that was like their town, not exactly a town hall. It was more like, it was like a hall that would have had plays on and stuff like that. So it had a stage and it was sweltering hot. And it was like a football crowd, like those guys like skinheads, and it was a good crowd though, because everyone was drinking and it was like we're friendly. And there was a dude who'd probably never seen battle rap before. It was like shook my hand afterwards. He's like, funny as fuck, lad. I had some jokes about some new Geordie players from like Fastino Spray from a while ago, and I think that appealed to them to some degree. They're good, really good.
Yeah, and it shows really that you've been a fan of it for a while. I think the first round is, the whole battle doesn't have your punch count that you'll kind of do a lot later, but there's still good stuff here. You sort of rhyme off Stotty a lot. You're a player, he commentates John Motti.
Yeah. That was probably one of them. I had a few that I'd had for a while that I was thinking I'll use this in my first battle, and I suspect that was one of them. And actually maybe not, because it's rhyme with Motti, so I don't know. Actually, come think of it, but yeah, maybe I just can't. So that I stole. I used to watch Aver battles, and he always used to rhyme for ages on the same word. And it's skill, but that's why I did those ones. There was a couple of battles where I did that for, and I thought that was really cool. Like, I can't do it as good as him, obviously, but that was what I was trying to copy. Like, he used to go off the same sound, just boom, 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 all the way. And that was what I was copying there.
Yeah, and Stotty, he's not bad. Like, I quite like watching people's debuts, because I get to see people that I've never seen, and kind of, like Stotty's, kind of one of these guys. Yeah. He took your girl to a restaurant, he arrived after 8, it was mint.
Yeah. He was a good dude, Stotty. And as I say, he's sort of more of known as a I don't exactly know what you'd call it, but maybe like a house MC, I guess.
Yeah.
So sort of cool. Like afterwards, I was speaking to people who are fans of his house stuff. It was weird. Yeah. It was good though. Yeah.
And your second is good as well. You talk about him being on the channel before. You do sort of sucking dick for doll, friends with benefits. Yeah. I think that was definitely one that I'd had sort of like ready, like, this will be like somewhere, put it in a strong part of the battle, and I'd known that probably for about 6 months or something. I guess. He plays for both sides, Lee Clark.
Nice. That was proud of that one. I sort of this is kind of like maybe giving the game away, but I sort of stole that from, there's an Alan Partridge thing where he's interviewing someone, and I think they talk about Dennis Law or something like that, and he played for Man City and Man United. Yeah. So it's not exactly stole from it, but it was definitely inspired by it from the years and years and years ago. So maybe it's fair.
And I mean, if there are any, gosh horror non-football fans out there, Lee Clark played for Newcastle and Sunderland, so hence that sort of thing playing up there. But, that league is pretty much right between Newcastle and Sunderland, so it's pretty much half and half there, I think, between them guys. So they all appreciated it. I hope so. And it's good stuff, really. I mean, Stotty isn't bad, but I think you kind of coast out this third quite well. Your bird's got Jungle Fever, Cockle 2, which you kind of have to go for. Tough tennis match, the way she got my top seed.
Yeah, that was, no one enjoyed that at all.
No,
it's a bit contrived, like maybe, but I was really proud of that one until I think I was expecting a reaction, and there wasn't any, which is kind of painful. And then you think, that's my fault, I've misjudged it. Yeah, but I don't know.
No. Yeah. And your girl's like a mirror. I see myself in her. I quite like that. It's quite good.
Yeah. Again, I think that was what I'd had for a long time that I was like hoping to spring out, I guess, and use.
And it works. You get the win here. Cool to see. Seuss as one of the judges. Crisis as well. Back when he was, still quite big.
He battled O'Shea that day. There's O'Shea versus Crisis. I think it was. O'Shea versus Crisis. Yeah, it was good actually. Yeah. So I met O'Shea, and Crisis was, who else? Pamphlet versus.
Was it Jack? Big Jack? What,
Jack, yeah. That was good too. Pamphlet's dressed as a golfer, which was weird, but I'm not sure why. I don't think he mentioned golf in it. He did mention his gloves or something. It was just an excuse to wear some wacky clothes or something. It was cool though. Yeah, it was cool.
And how did it feel picking up that first victory?
Yeah, it was good actually. Yeah. I didn't know how. I thought they might be not say biased, but you never really know if people are going to write if they're the pals. But I suppose I knew Seuss would be a good judge. Right? And there was a dude called I think Rex Regis who ran the Don't No Beef League as well. Rex Regis, he's a good dude, and then they joined up. I think we'd get Slade at some point. So yeah, very nice. It gave me the confidence. I think if some people get destroyed in their first battle or they choke bad or something bad happens to them, then they don't want to come back. But I was lucky really. There was a good crowd and I got it off. I practiced enough or whatever, and yeah, I won. So
no, it's good stuff, man. And you came back against Triple B. And get slated again. Was that just they offered you? Obviously you did well, so they kind of wanted you on board.
Yeah, definitely. And he'd had a sort of semi-big battle against a guy called Jack. Was it Jack Sexton? Yeah, who he ended up like doing a 2-on-2 in don't flop with. So I think I'd already seen his battle, and that was like that had like 10,000 views. I think it was like a local sort of. I don't know what you call it really, but like local interest battle. So yeah, it had a lot of views, and Triple B's like a good MC. He makes cool beats as well, actually. But yeah, and they just got in touch quite soon afterwards, maybe like 3 months later or something. So I was excited, definitely.
And what is your rehearsal process like in terms of writing and then in terms of learning? Have you been you've been battling now for about 4 years. Has that changed over the years or?
I mean, only slightly. What I always did, sort of from the beginning, I was always writing down the little punchlines, particularly the homonyms. You don't need to write the whole thing, just put the word down.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on a piece of card, separate them up, and have them all separate and make sure that's enough material to cover the whole battle. And then just sort of put them into loose rounds from there. If any of them match the same sound or the same concept, you can put them together, if you know what I mean. And then when you start practicing it, I realized some of them are awful. When you say them outside, maybe the head it sounded okay, so then I ditch them, throw them away, and then I kind of stick them together. And then after practice, at least a certain amount of time, you want a few. You've got to do it at least 30 times for you to get it clean, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, you have a kind of round structure that's maybe I don't know. I don't want to say slightly easier to remember, I suppose, because it's kind of very punch driven. Like is it kind of is it like rote? Are you just going over like?
I as I say, I just write pretty much down. I get down the punchline, and then I have those cards, memorize the cards, and stick them together with like an end rhyme, and then I just run it back the same round. Not 3, 1 in a row. It's like one after. Do the same round over and over and over again. Maybe like reps, almost like 3. Leave a little break, 3, and then switch to the second round, 3, break, 3, go back to the first round, 3, and it's best. And that's a good way. And also with the punchlines, it is easier because they get familiar in your head, and you might have like a little image in your head of whatever.
Yeah. I've never thought of it like that. And Newcastle, the North, was very good to you. In your battling career early on. So you faced against Triple B. Then we get the long-awaited Don't Flop tryout in Newcastle on their Raise the Bar tour. How did this come about?
I think it was Mr. 13, so I have to give thanks to him. Although I'm not sure if I ever saw him in person to thank him, but I think he was in charge of the tryouts, possibly then, and I'd made a little compilation of the favourites. I think Juan takes the piss out of it in our battle, actually, but I've got a little highlights video from the first 2 gate-slated videos as a little, and I think I sent that, I think it was not Triple B, what am I saying, Mr. 13. Mr. 13 said, yeah, some good stuff there, you down for a tryout? And I think they might have thought I lived in Newcastle and gave me the tryout against Blunt, which was cool. So I was, didn't mind traveling there again anyway.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is, big shit. Definitely getting onto Don't Flop here. Quite a fair few people there, weren't there as well? It was quite busy.
It was a hell of a crowd. Yeah, it was good because I don't know how often they had them at that point. I don't think there was any revival at that point. I'm sure there wasn't. In fact, they had them intermittently in Leeds and Manchester. So I think they might not have had one since a year up in Newcastle. Maybe when Seuss battled Jay Short, possibly, which was like a year before that. And I think they hadn't seen much since then. And it was a really good crowd. And I'd not seen a big crowd like that because the Get Slated crowd had a few like people's pals and whatnot. But then at Don't Flop, there was like people who followed it. And I was like, someone tweeted earlier and they like, good luck to Jay Dillon and Blunt doing their tryouts today. I was like, woo! Yeah, it was really kind of good.
And Blunt, I must stress, not Blunt Head. This is Blunt. Fairly intimidated dude, wasn't he? He was quite a big sort of guy.
Dude. And it's his ex that he loves because his ex had the best arse, even with the stretch marks. But at the end of March, Seuss met that girl and took her home. Now he's mad because Max got Thunderdome. He's not lucky with girls, no, nothing works. He's a cat amongst the pitch and he's pussy with birds. And he must be scared and frightened of being single because he tries to mingle. He talks to guys and girls, he's bilingual. His rhyming simple and so-so, I'm virtuoso. None of his housework, that's a broken home. And he's got no quotes, he's a useless builder.
He's a big guy, he's a big guy. He's from Middlesbrough, I think, and he's, I don't know how old he was, but he seems, he was like tallish and quite intimidating. Yeah. To some degree, but he was a friendly dude.
Yeah. I thought he was quite good, actually.
He's a good rapper. I think he makes good tracks as well. That was mostly what I'd seen of him. He had a couple of tracks. Battles on the No Beef thingy, which was sort of amalgamated ultimately with Get Slated. But yeah, he had a battle on that, and he was good actually. He could definitely rap. But I was lucky. He didn't really have that many punchlines, and he said to me afterwards, like, I realised I should have had punchlines, but I mean, he was still spitting good stuff. But it's easier when it's just a few obvious punchlines in the tryout, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. He wins the flip, chooses to go first, talks about the lisp, baffling how you can rap on beats with the gap in your teeth. I quite like when he says the space in the gap in your teeth is the space that separates Manhattan and Crete.
I think he had a whole line of them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He didn't do too bad. And you flip in your first. You do a lot of flips, actually, which, I mean, isn't that common for the punchline type guys? Does that just come from the rapping background, or...?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I always think. People love the flips, don't they? You get more points for flip. It doesn't even have to be. I mean, it has to be semi. It has to be okay. It has to be okay, but it doesn't. Doesn't have to be as good as you would have put in your round, if you know what I mean, from writing it. If you know what I mean. If it's a flip, then you get more points for less, really. So you've got to give it a go. You got to. I mean, and it's not that hard, really. If someone like the other, I just came back from Iron Bars and Scott Early threw a bar about. It was an Only Fools and Horses one, and I flew it back. It's pretty easy to find something like about Rodney, don't be a plonker kind of thing through back, and although actually some people didn't get it, so maybe that's right. I don't know, it's not, maybe they don't watch it as much in Scotland, but I mean, you got to flip, but especially if you have a vague idea what they're coming with, definitely. If you have some idea,
and
not to.
Yeah, you've got to go with the name flips as well in general. He's called Blunt because he's often in his mate's mouth.
That was my favourite one. I came up with that one straight away, which is a bit weird. But that was my favourite one, I guess.
The thing about the homonyms, is kind of you've got to see where someone's going with one. So, for instance, if he just said, if anyone listening now, lighthouse. So Jay does a bar about lighthouse, which I think is very original, actually, where you say, you're bright like a lighthouse. He doesn't make hip hop, just lighthouse. Which is just very, you know what I mean? It's very witty. I really like that.
Well, you got to look for I might have had a couple of ones which didn't, it might have been Lighthouse in a different way, the same idea, but, and you've got to find the thing that vaguely sticks them together. And as I say, I've got a couple which I've had the same homonym for a while, but I just can't stick it together. And I keep on thinking, that's silly. That's too much of a reach. So, you've got to dig deep for it.
It's crazy. There's so much. I think it's more of a URL thing, isn't it? Reaching and kind of like stretching wordplay beyond its limits, kind of thing. And
if they put an extra, it's complicated because if they put an extra letter in that doesn't sound like it, then it's definitely wrong. To me, I would do that, if you know what I mean. But that's up to personal choice, I guess.
No. I agree. And there's lots of good Blunt stuff in the first. Sometimes Blunt raps just fall to pieces.
Yeah, speaking from personal experience. In fact, every time I've done one, I've pretty much. Well, you can buy like sort of fake ones, which are sort of not really tobacco skins, which stick together well. But I think everyone probably knew that was a real thing because it's pretty hard to roll those real tobacco skins. Especially, I mean, those blunt skins, especially if you split a real one, a cigar.
Talking those real facts bars.
Real life stuff, I guess.
Nobody cares his music's been released because he looks like he's just been released from care.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I was lucky. I was lucky he was wearing a tracksuit on the day because he did look. No, it was a nice tracksuit, but he definitely looked like he'd just been released to some degree.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
not
yeah.
really. No,
Yeah, I
it
know
was a
what you
good
mean.
tracksuit.
I
But he
know.
had the trainers,
Yeah.
if he'd had a suit on, it wouldn't have worked, I guess. So I was lucky in that sense.
Yeah, and
Or
you know
even,
he didn't have too many punches, as you say, in the first, but I thought his first was good. His
Yeah.
second was okay. I think you just kind of keep it up really in the second. His dad cooks meth, Malcolm in the Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
All this sort of stuff here.
Yeah, that was the start of my. Yeah, I enjoyed that one actually. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I think I paused at that bit, and then it came back to me. I almost lost it at that point. I think at one of those bits, but yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
No, it's good. And I mean, Blunt, kind of a sure sign that someone's running out of slight creativity as they scheme, and he does like an Oasis scheme that's it was a bit long and sort of not that clever, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. In the tryout, you'd have to have a hell of a scheme to people will listen if it's someone if it's Ogmios, you're going to listen to that scheme. But if it's someone they never heard of before, it's just that it's hard to get people to follow every little the way, even if it's a clever, you put it together, like the dog bars and then the barking. You have to. I don't know. It's hard. So it's just a strategy, I guess. But
yeah, and lots of good stuff here. I love he talks to guys and girls. He's bilingual.
Yeah. I've kind of reused that a few times, to be honest with you, but it's not, that's not
nice. It's nice. It's kind of like many people could say that sort of thing, but it's still quite funny. You won't hear blunt object to blunt objects and dildos. Such a bit of fruit. He's got lemonades.
Yeah. It's weird because probably now that might sound a bit distasteful, but back in 2013 or 14,
2014.
Yeah, 2000. It doesn't seem that bad, but now you might not say AIDS anymore.
No, you wouldn't hear that. You wouldn't hear that on trading days, I don't think anymore. But
no, strange, isn't it? Not to say that's bad. I mean, that's progression.
No. Yeah, exactly. It's all pantomime at the end of the day as well. Yeah. So no, we're here for wordplay rather than any objective meaning. But you win again. Definitions there, Seuss is there. For some reason, Marlowe's there all the way in Newcastle. I don't quite know why he's there, but
I don't know. I think I asked him, either Shuffle or Marlowe. I said, "What are you doing here?" And he just said, "We're just kind of helping out." And then he didn't really elaborate on that any further. It was weird, but it was good though because they were nice guys. And then I suppose the fans at that point, with the fans, they wanted to the lap. They were the top dudes. Obviously, that was when they were just blowing up them guys. So it was cool for the fans to see them guys because obviously no one had heard of me or Blunt to that point.
But I mean, this is kind of your first. Okay, so it's kind of almost a year or so had passed from your first Gate-Slated battle to this coming out, the Blunt battle. Kind of a dream run, wasn't it? Really, it must have been great to pick up that first Don't Flop win.
Yeah, that was a big relief because I knew. Well, not say knew, but I thought they've got to get me back on after I win the first one. Which I mean, I didn't really know how it worked. No one says, "Oh, you have to win." It's just you have to do okay, I guess, and impress them. But I thought, I've got to have another crack at it if I've won it. So yeah, it was good, and it also was an okay battle. He didn't choke. We both got through it, so that was good too. Because some people's tryouts are kind of awkward, unwatchable, and then one person does okay, but the other guy completely whatever, and it's on the demo channel. Or I don't know if that's a thing anymore on the demo channel, but
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's not as active anymore, but no, it definitely was one of the or worse, it just doesn't come out. Which is kind of
exactly. Yeah,
I remember actually the first event that I went to, which would have been like 2012, like Manchester event. I remember the first tryout didn't come out, and it had some really good bars, but I remember both of them choked badly. And it was
who was the headline that day? Which
the headline was O'Shea versus Pamphlet.
Right.
Yeah. So it was like Matt of Verb T, and there was some good battles actually. I'll never forget.
Verb T, man, he was.
Oh man, the best.
I'd love him to come back. He was he's probably my top. One of the top DF dudes for me. Probably when I was a fan. Before I got into it myself, he was definitely one of the guys who was always click his back. I know he had a rough ride at the beginning. He lost his bars or whatever on the battle, but he was a killer Verb T.
Definitely, and obviously outside of the ring as well, the guys doing madman things consistently. But you came, it's quite interesting actually. I didn't realise, just seeing this on Verse Tracker, I realised there would have been months in between, but your Blunt battle came out, and then the One battle came out 2 weeks later. So so it's very very close together. Obviously, this is Juan is megastar now, sort of thing.
Yeah, he's a superstar. He's
my
Justin
God.
Bieber.
Yeah.
The next wave.
It's crazy. But power to him. Obviously, great dude. Like,
definitely.
So it must have been pretty cool, not only to get asked back, but to be part of the top 8.
Yeah, because I didn't. Yeah, it was weird because I didn't exactly know what to expect. You don't really, and I'm not someone to go and like pester him like, oh, when's the next battle kind of thing. And then just out of the blue, someone said, and it was, as I say, it wasn't. It was just from the DF page, so you don't really know who he's talking to. It was just like a message. It just said, "You down to battle, Juan?" And it was in like early June or something like that. It was like a summer months, and it was like, oh fuck yeah! It was like in the top 8. And then they had the trailers. I think they had trailers from. I know. I was like, yeah, I've made it now. I've got the trailer. It was good, really good. Yeah, and Raptor was on it as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and Twisted Pennies was there, and I think he battled. And Twisted Pennies is sick. Like he's slept on massively great.
He is cool.
But I mean, like,
we don't see enough of them guys.
No, we don't. But I mean, it just comes in waves, doesn't it? Really, just it's highs and lows. But talk to me about this is your first battle in London. This is like a proper DF event. You're not the tryout anymore. Was there more pressure? Did you feel, or?
I mean, in some ways, yeah. Although I suppose I'd had the benefit of having 3 good. I was lucky enough to get 3 good battles. So I wasn't getting a big head, but I thought, I'm probably got a good chance of doing okay. Like I know I could do, and like the Don't Flop in Newcastle was a good event. So, but it was pressure and they said, oh, the 3rd round's 90 seconds. And I was like, fuck. All the other ones have been 60 seconds. So I was like, oh, I've got to go an extra, which doesn't seem like that much now. But at the time I was like, wow, that last round's gonna be a killer. And I did want to win, to be fair, as well, because I thought if I get through that, then you've got a good chance of winning, I guess, after that.
Yeah, definitely. There was it was quite a good top 8 actually that year. They had some good talent in it, in and amongst it. And this is
first... the Welsh guy. What's the Welsh guy called?
Oh, Vocab.
Yeah, Vocab. Yeah, he was good too.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
Shocks? Was it Shocks?
Shocks wasn't in it. No, there was Sleepy, Vocab, Comedy, Twisted, yourself, Raptor. I'm trying to think. I'm missing someone else out here. I mean, I remember saying to Sleepy at the time that, because obviously, saying to Juan at the time that Sleepy and Twisted lost to Sleepy, although I personally think that he beat Sleepy quite comfortably. I think the better final would have been Juan versus Twisted Pennies. I think that would have been more of an interesting battle.
It would have been interesting, yeah. And what did the winner get? Uno Lavas won.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, was what hot, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, it catapulted Juan. Like, that established him for good. Like, and he battled Sharon.
He made the most of it as well. To be fair, like he knew, like he definitely knew he had an opportunity, and he had good bars. And I think it was very late notice. I think, unless they're over whatever exaggerating, but I think it was quite late notice. That I think Uno Lavas was doing like a tour or something weird like that, like a stand-up thing or something. And then luckily he could link up for the battle, I think, and they had like a week or something, not that much maybe, and Juan smashed it. Yeah, it's good. Super.
He killed it actually. About a year ago or so, about a bit more, I moved to Oxford, and obviously Juan's from Oxford, and he's like, he's like literally like 17, 18. I remember like walking around seeing him with his mates like outside school, and I was just like, hang on, you're this legendary battler, but you're like literally a child. But regardless, you battled this guy, and this event, most famous probably, J. Dillon, for Old English rock in the SpongeBob gear.
Yeah, it was mad, wasn't it? The thing is, I mean, I had been to London before, obviously, but I thought I'd not been to too many battle rap events. If I'd not been to any in London before, and I thought, I guess that's what they do down here. They rock with the full characters, And I thought it looked cool. I wouldn't. I don't tend to wear the the cartoon characters too much, but it did look cool. Like the hat and then the jacket, the jumper which matched. And I thought, it was good.
I'll always quote Ryan Morgan, obviously great friend of the show, here in the comments, saying that Old English dresses like the kid in every school class who just sits there on his DS.
I didn't know. I thought it was cool outfit, to be honest with you. As I say, I mean, and he didn't look uncomfortable. He looked really cool in it. He looked very comfortable in it. So
it's just whenever I cover this event with a guest, I just always have to mention Old English. Obviously, loved Old English. Like, he was a great guest on the show, but it's just very, very funny outfit, very notorious. But we get to the battle themselves, and
but he's notorious in Oxford. They call him Glock Juan. Inspector Morse wants to shut down his gang Oxfam. He got banned from the cinema. Coke, he was sniffing there, ODing in the Odeon. So much snow you could go skiing. You should see him, he's a hipster crackhead. He tweets for his beacon, he's baguettes with bagheads. It's sad, yes, you slag next. I mean, I'm an expert on your expert, no guesswork. She said yes when I said the F word. She's left him and run due to bad execution. He's not well hung.
Beating me some feet like a centipede?
Yeah, I mean, it was maybe a bit misplaced. I think I had that one in the bag anyway. But you know, to be fair, Juan was probably too young to be called a pedo. Although,
right.
I guess it can't happen. It can't happen, unfortunately. But no, I mean, maybe that I should have kept that in the bag, centipede. But I just liked it, and that was just one to kick off with, I guess. But with hindsight, I probably wouldn't have done that. I would have been more direct. I wouldn't have given that to her because he was clearly younger than me at the time. So
yeah. It is slightly odd, and you know,
he was creepy. I mean, I was trying to paint a creepy. You do get these creepy dudes though in schools who do weird stuff.
True.
Who aren't allowed to go into classrooms on their own and stuff. So, not to say that's what he's like, but I was trying to desperately trying to work it in. But to be fair, you know, sometimes you got to know when not to.
And
maybe that was the time.
I mean, you know, Juan has this incredible ability really to clown anyone well. You know, and he sort of goes in on, you know,
very analytical.
Yeah. Your, you know, sort of your checkered shirt, woe fan. If you add those factors together, bro, damn, there's something about you that screams generic folk band.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, it's not a generic folk band, but I'm in an Irish sort of folk band kind of thing. Yeah. So you see me turn around because my mate's like the drummer in that band. I was like, you know, kind of like he got us to some degree. So that's not why I'm wearing the shirt though. But
no, it was. I mean, good stuff here from him, really. You know,
he's clever. He is clever, Juan. He knows how to break down. He watches them videos carefully. He knows how to break it down and analyze for sure.
Yeah, hanging off rock like the Mini Cooper in The Italian Job.
Yeah, but you know, there's something weird where they're like bitching about it in the comments and saying it's accurate or something. I don't know what that is. So, you know.
Because in the film, the bus is what hangs off the cliff, not the Coopers are a different part of the film. So it's kind of he's kind of mixed his metaphors there, but it's still a clever line, and like, you know. I
mean, you can't. There was the bloke who had that bloke. She blew me like a cello recently, or something like that.
Oh yeah, Little Yuckty or someone like that. Yeah. So, and send Dyllon out the window like Haley in Modern Family is quite a nice bar as well. Which
I'd never actually seen that program at the time. I've seen it since then, but I didn't care for the bar at the time.
I think I said to one at the time, it's a bar a 17-year-old would make. Like, it's kind of one of those shows that, like, you know.
He's showing his age, I guess. But I mean,
impressed me not only that you flipped, Jay, but that you flip in a homonym. So, you know, he talked about your shirt, and you were like, checkmate. You got ball cancer. You better checkmate. Like.
They're the easiest ones for me, to be honest with you. The easiest ones is the homonyms for me, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah, it just came. I don't know. Yeah, I was lucky with that one. It was a bit weird. I don't know what I said. Something about ball cancer checkmate. I don't know if that seems a bit strange, a bit bad taste again these days. It seems a bit like I don't know.
Yeah. But it was just again, it was just kind of slightly silly, effective blackmails. You know, for blackmail to blackmail and that sort of stuff. And
that's one of them ones. I'm never sure if you suspect someone else has done it, because not to say it's obvious, but it's sort of like someone must have done that. But I've never heard it, so I'd do it if I've never heard it. But
and you know, Juan in his second really good as well. Talks about that compilation that you mentioned before, which just sort of shows his research game. Like, you know, he's kind of
too much time on his hands, I guess.
Well, he's a kid.
I guess.
You know, hitting deadline after deadline, still couldn't get the job done.
Yeah.
Hard.
It's crazy that he was only 17 when he wrote that. He is, you know, you showed the skill of this kid, definitely.
And you know, I mean, you know, really good battle. Urge people to go back and to watch this. And we get into the judging. Who Old English SpongeBob feels that Juan took it. You know, he loved the second round. Really, you know, he loved your second round. Sorry, but he felt that the third was kind of the strongest. They're natural. He wanted the tryouts to be more direct, and he actually votes for you. I was happy about that. He's a good rapper. Great. And Bam felt that you picked up a bit more momentum, and Bam actually called out your hypochondriac bar. Do you remember?
Yeah, that was weird. Because I mean, again, I'd not heard one, but then it doesn't surprise me that someone has done one. So I guess he's heard them before, and if you've heard it before, then obviously it sounds like bullshit when you heard it. But I'd not, I guess, at that point, because you know, but. C'est la vie. But he did me a big favour then, because until that point, I'd not really crossed my mind that you'd get beaten up for having something that was obvious. And then after that, I thought either which way, even if I've not heard it, that's no excuse, I guess. So he did me a favour there, because you have to look a little bit closer.
You've just got to think there's this bit. I mean, that's what I find crazy about battle rap, and especially your style of battle rap. Like, there's so many battles, and we're all using the same words. It's like, how can there be original punchlines left in the world? You know what I mean? How?
Strange. I guess I know what you mean, but I suppose, as I say, things have changed. So we probably wouldn't do lemonades now. We wouldn't see that, but there's something that might relate to. God, well, I don't know what's new now. I mean, it's not even new, but dabbing. If there was a dabbing punchline, that's from like last 2 years ago. You know what I mean, don't you? I suppose at any point, new things are popping up, and new daft word. Vine. I mean, Vine's gone, but you could have had a Vine punchline.
Yeah. I think Sharon had a Vine. He was like, my clips are longer or something like that. Like, he had a bar like that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the battle, we have, you getting interviewed at like, okay, Battle Rap Resume sort of does the post Don't Flop interviews if Don't Flop still exists anymore. I'm doing a few of those. But back then, two guys that I'm a big fan of, they get unfair hate, I think, the Read Between the Bars guys.
I don't know why they get hate, because, I mean, maybe if they came up now, they wouldn't, but I guess it was just at the time people didn't like it or something. I don't know, but I mean, I love the Battle Rap Media, and they were one of the first ones in the UK doing it, I think, because there was definitely a few like what's the one in New Jersey in North America? What's their one called? Dash or something. There was loads already in America, but we didn't have too many in 2014.
No. They were, I always say they were a massive influence on Battle Rap Resume. Yeah.
Are they still doing it? They don't.
No, they don't. They don't do it anymore. They tried to start their own league, I think, and it kind of it didn't go that well. But
I mean, a league's a tough thing to do, isn't it? I mean,
Jesus Christ,
it's hard work, and they're doing a league.
I mean, it was kind of weird because they got quite a bit of fame, quote unquote, from doing kind of their breakdowns, just them in their room smoking and doing, and they were really good. And then when they went into the real world, it was a bit more. But talk to me about losing to Juan. Are you a competitive person? Did this bother you?
I was a bit disappointed, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't say he didn't do well, so I can see why he won. And as like SpongeBob said, he broke it down so well. So if that's what you're looking for, you've got to give it to him. But personally, the things I like is obviously the style I use, and I think I will. I've never really thought I've lost, really, because I only like my own style, really. Well, not my own, but I like that style. So I'd have to lose to someone who did that better than me, like Harry Baker, I guess, or Ogmios, or QP, the Suns one, I guess, maybe, or something. I don't know. But
I'd like to see you battle QP, actually.
I'd love to. Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. That'd be a great style. Not like a style clash, but kind of you kind of got similar styles, and kind of similar kind of punch frames.
Similar in some ways, and in some ways so different. But it would be interesting. It would be cool. And he's quite prolific as well. He went a long time. I think he went a bit off the rails, not off the rails, but whatever, but I think he's back on it. The Black Ice ones, I think.
No, he is killing it. But so you got quite busy then, really, in Don't Flop and otherwise after this, regardless of the top 8 loss. Obviously, you showed out. People really liked your style, sort of thing. What was driving you here? Was it just a sense to just build your name, to battle more?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, unlike a lot of people, but I had music. I was making tunes, and no one really listens to it. If you put a tune on YouTube, no one listens to it. Whereas, obviously, I've seen that Don't Flop were getting views through the name of the company, and then did it. But I mean, the thing is, it's quite addictive anyway. And like, even though I'd lost, I still got a buzz from it because people was telling me like, "Oh, you won that outside." You know what I mean? It was a close one either which way. But yeah, people were saying you won, did it. So I took that like, I didn't feel disheartened. I guess I think because if you feel disheartened, you've got to have real hard to pull yourself back out and do it again. But I didn't feel too bad. I was like, maybe I got robbed. Who cares? It's the start, I guess. So yeah, definitely.
And you battled. I haven't watched this battle. I'm just curious about what went down. You battled GEE on Hush Hush Media. How was that?
That was weird. It was one of them ones, what I mean? The cool Hush Hush Media is like more of a live act. They put on people you'd heard like live, but they threw in a battle every so often, and that battle was like at 1 o'clock in the morning after most people had gone home, and a lot of people's friends had done their sets and gone home and whatnot. Right. And so it was a tough one, but it was good still. It was the crowd was heaving earlier on, and then by the time the battle came, it was like, as I say, 1 o'clock in the morning, and people had gone elsewhere. Yeah, but it was good. And GW, the funny thing is GW's doing really well now, and he just yesterday battled O'Shea, I think. What day is it? Oh, 2 days ago, maybe. It was Saturday in Birkenhead. Yeah, I couldn't get there because I was in Scotland, but yeah, so that's cool. That's cool. He'd been on Don't Flop as well before me, I think, possibly the tryout, maybe.
And we had the, lots of other battles in this era as well. This was kind of when Don't Flop, like, not when Training Days was Danny Jaqq Training Days, but Training Days was like this kind of movement, and, they were doing quite a lot and doing a lot of Fiddlers battles. So, you're battling people like Young Guns and Nathwan and people like that. I think it's your most watched battle, actually, the Lefty battle. Which is at 42k now. This is a very, people love this battle, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lefty's a cool dude, and he's a cool opponent because it's a sort of similar style in a way, although he's coming from a different angle or whatever. But yeah, it's a sort of, it's sort of a bit of wordplay, but like light-hearted-ish, but still, he's a good MC. I was lucky, they gave me so that was in Liverpool, and they sorted out that one for me. O'Shea was battling Kelsey and Kid.
Yeah.
And and Lefty hadn't battled for a while as well, so it had a bit of the comeback thing to it. And luckily, I had plenty of time to prepare, so I got a clean round off. It was good.
Yeah, whenever I watch battles from this event, though, it always makes me sad because I went to uni in Liverpool, so I know Liverpool quite well. And this was in the Kaz, wasn't it? Which is like a classic venue.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, I think they're going to reopen it. They knocked down a lot of that, but they're going to reopen it. I think they've got that, them sculptures, those weird sculptures outside. Yeah, I think where that is going to be the new venue, and then some flats, obviously, as they always put new flats up there, students in the centre of town. But the Casimir's are great, and it's like a pit. It's like a weird natural pit as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I saw loads of bands there and stuff like that, and it is just a nice, intimate, and like it makes sense that Don't Flop would go there. I think they went there a few times when they went to Liverpool, so naturally it's that kind of fit. And now we get to the next battle proper, a battle that I was actually at. I remember watching this live because I tried out against Turner earlier on in the day, and you versus Danny Jaqq was the headline battle.
I've got moon dust that'll make your jaw click. Any star lines I bet you stole or bit. Dan's a deviant into all sorts of shit. He went glory hole but said the wall was too thick. But it's awful when he's skint. He gets paid by wealthy couples for company, yeah? Some Saudi swingers, Sonny and Cher. But it's funny, yeah? I'm after reaction like Coke and Mentos, while Jack's into sniffing Coke and men's toes and...
Yeah. I mean, I remember the vibe was great, the weather was great, and I loved where it was set with that huge statue in the back.
Yeah, I don't think I've been to. I think I've seen Hyde Park. I've not been to it before, and I don't think I knew what to expect. And then I got there, it was crazy, and there was like a dragonfly flew above the crowd, and it was like sweltering hot. And I think I was wearing like shorts, a t-shirt, and Bagnall came up to me and said, like, "What's this? The Charlie Brown outfit?" I had a cap on as well. I think you see it in the video as well. But it was good. Yeah, Danny Jaqq. It was his birthday. And he'd I think he maybe drunk too much before, and he had a headache and whatnot, but. Come the battle, it was good. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, and we open with on his chair. Is very relaxed here.
Yeah,
kind of chilling out here. And do you remember how they didn't cut it out the video, but there's like this sort of awkward where they're trying to find judges for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people were sort of Danny Jaqq's pals, maybe, or like because they would come to celebrate. And it was weird. Kruger filmed it, didn't he? It was like an alternative. It was like a different way of doing it. I guess a bit more. I don't know what you call that style of filming, but yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, it was kind of cinema verite, I suppose, in some sort of highfalutin language. But it was, it looks great. The battle does look great. I agree. Actually, it has a nice kind of warmth to it. It definitely captures the mood very well here. In your first, you've got to go for Danny Jaqq of all trades, master of none, haven't you? You've got to say that bar.
Yeah, I had to do that. I mean, I don't know. People don't really use that expression much anymore. It's a bit of like an old-fashioned expression. But yeah, I just love that. That was like meat and drink to me. There was tons of Jaqq ones that I had, I think, left out, which have probably been done before, maybe, or not even that good. But there was just mountains of stuff you could do with Jaqq. Even Danny, there's a few things.
Yeah.
Desperate Dan, I'm not sure if I use that, I don't know.
But I mean, like, lots of care for you because your parents never cared for you, which is really nice.
Yeah.
He watches Downton Abbey. His girlfriend's known as Downtown Abbey.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the ones that I suspect that other people might have said elsewhere. I don't
Right.
know about that because I heard a cousin who doesn't even watch battle rap say it, and I don't think he'd seen my battle, and I was like, but then maybe he has. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Danny Jaq's funny in this one, actually. You know, I think he's quite strong. Once again, he's in another park. You know, he forgot his motherfucking bars.
Yeah.
And I love his Rugrats bars, actually, in the second. I think they're quite strong.
Yeah, no, that was fire. That it was good. I think he did. When was the Liverpool scheme? Was that the last one? Or was
That was the third round. Yeah.
Stuff was. He had some gun bars, didn't he?
He did.
And I tried to flip it, although I slightly screwed up the flip slightly. But yeah, I had like a paper clips or something like that. Fake.
Yeah. That was nice. That was really nice. Yeah, and I mean, I think homemade hummus. He drinks his chick's pee.
Yeah. I was lucky that day that a lot of people were sort of familiar with the the process of making hummus, I guess. So
yeah. London crowd.
Yeah, they're all well aware of what goes into hummus and chickpea, and I suppose it's like, not to say it's plausible that he would drink his chickpea, but he's, a compromising guy. Maybe he's a good girlfriend. I don't know if it made her happy. Maybe I don't know. He's a good dude.
I mean, fair to say, probably your most famous line here, the George for Men line.
Oh yeah. That was the funny thing is, my friend of mine is sure that he came up with that, but I'm not sure about that because I think there was a couple of other ones which was like something about forums and George for Men or something like that. I can't remember what it was. So I didn't know that one. The thing about the Asda, if you know what I mean, was going to be the one they liked. If you know what I mean, you never really know which one is the popular. You think, maybe it's the grill, maybe it's the Asda, maybe. But strange. Maybe I don't know why it appeals so much to everyone. Really.
Yeah. No, it was really hilarious line, and probably the biggest accolade you can get in battle rap. Going crazy over something you said. Yeah,
well, again, I mean, that's good fortune in a sense, because some people have lines, like I remember seeing a guy who did a tryout and it was something about, I don't know, it was something like correctional fluid, Tipex, but no, if you don't get any response, no one remembers the line, and I don't even remember who that dude was, but I was lucky, as jumping up and the crowd's celebrating or whatever, and then it becomes memorable, whereas there's things you might think are better and that's completely overlooked. So yeah, I suppose I've got to be grateful to the crowd for celebrating in full. I guess.
Yeah, it's great to see. Great vibe, and you take the victory as well, and you're racking up quite a lot of wins at this point. I mean, do you know your kind of record in general? I don't know exactly because I haven't seen every battle, but you seem to win most.
Most, yeah. Although the funny thing is, a lot of them weren't judged after a certain point. Like Lefty isn't judged, and I mean, I don't know whether I would have won that anyway, but that wasn't judged. And then Ren DMC, there's going on into the future. Barely any of them have judged. And then I did one in Denmark. I don't know if that's on battle. I don't know if you have that on the verse tracker because they haven't dropped it. It was like a pay-per-view.
Right.
But they judged that, and then there's been a couple after that elsewhere. But yeah. I don't know. I didn't count. I thought I was sort of superstitious, and I thought it'd maybe better to keep a record in a way. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, what was that Denmark one? I didn't realise you went overseas.
Yeah, it's the one that P Soldier's been.
Oh yeah.
Shuffle T of both battled the same guy that I battled, a guy called Geezer G. He's a cool dude from like somewhere outside of Copenhagen, but he's a good rapper and he's hoping to get on DF. But he did well. I think one of those battles is online, but I think the Shuffle one is still on pay-per-view. I think. But yeah, it's cool. It's called Rap Slam. Yeah, dude. Stefan, yeah, it's great. They're mad into it as well. They're mad Don't Flop fans as well. They were asking me. They didn't really know me that well, to be honest, but they knew a ton of people who were like, the obvious names, asking me this and that. But I was like, it's pretty cool to see it because they're supporting it hard and people buying the pay-per-view out there, And considering that's their second language, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, that definitely insane. And lots of battles in this period, including a visit to King of the Ronalds. Was this inevitable?
Yeah, well, I mean, I met Bowski at a Words of Weapons. I was supposed to do a Words of Weapons clash, but the guy never showed. And I met Bowski then, and then he was like, "Oh, we can do a battle." So he got in touch with me when it was meant to be Cadillac Ron tour in the UK, I think, and he was going to battle a couple of people. He was meant to battle O'Shea, and that was part of the reason why I wanted to do it because I was like a fan of Cadillac Ron. And then obviously, we found out the night beforehand that he wasn't going to make it, and then he ultimately had passed away, which was kind of crazy. On the way or something, I don't really know the details or whatever, so I went about it, but it was pretty weird. It was a big shame, and Yeah, but then I did the battle. We were the headline. Me and Bowski did the headline. And it was it was still cool to do it. And Bowski is one of the top, probably the top 3 dudes I'd battle, probably name wise. So yeah, it was good. It was good in Manchester.
Yeah. Definitely fun battle. I mean, kind of everyone who always gets out an excuse for the fat jokes, right? I mean, it's kind of an easy crutch, but fun to do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's cheap, but the thing is, once you start going with it, there's so many, there's so many different food products. You can just get into anything, fortune cookies, the whole thing. It's just endless, and I mean, I don't, Bowski's a good dude, so I wouldn't want him, like, or anything, but yeah,
and we get, Bowski around this time, it's like your 14th, 15th battle in quite a short space of time. Like, did you ever feel, I mean, because it doesn't really show, but like, did you ever feel drained creatively? How do you keep coming up with these bars?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's easier. It's like, not to make a corny comparison, but it's a bit like when you're like into jogging or something or playing five-a-side. If you stop, it's the hardest thing to get back into.
Yeah.
But if you keep, for some reason, it seems easier in a way.
Yeah.
So like I was getting it. It wasn't quite every month, but it was probably once every 2 months or something. And in some ways, it's easier because you just get into the process and your brain is get used to. It's like when you're doing your GCSEs again and you're like learning and you start trying to memorize everything. It's kind of weird, and you start memorizing the bus timetable. I don't know if you had that, but yeah, it's kind of like that where I have it, where it's actually like go battle to battle, the process, write, memorize, edit, yeah, and so I liked it. It's something to put your mind to as well. To be honest with you.
Oh yeah, exactly, and it's just great back catalogue of work you've got here. Tons and tons of good battles, and it's paying off really. Where you get to battle someone like Pedro, for example, very cool.
Yeah, because he was one of the dudes along with Lefty, who I was already a fan of, and Bowski, who I was a fan of before I was even writing bar. Like I'd seen the battles, like I'd seen them early battles we spoke about, and then I'd seen Pedro. And I was definitely one of the cool, like I think he was on that Charlie. It was weird. There was a Charlie Sloth League. Did you see that one?
Yeah,
yeah. And it was weird. I don't think he had anything written, but I was like, I thought he had some energy as an MC, definitely. And then he battled Cieslin or what's his other name? TC, is it? He goes by possibly Cieslin.
TC, yeah.
Yeah, TC, yeah. That's a hell of a battle too. So when I ultimately got to battle Pedro, it was good to battle someone, who I already looked up to, in a sense, although you don't want to look up to someone too much if you're battling them, but, there's a backstory and there was this and that and, things to go off, and he was a Weed fan too, so yeah, it was good.
No, completely. And, these next couple of battles then, we're getting into sort of, you battling Seuss now. This Scottish event was like a classic event, wasn't it? Wild. Scotland, it's like, I'd say it's almost like the spiritual home of battle rap, I'd say now. And a bit like in South America, they took on the football fully. It didn't come from there, but they embrace it fully. And like the Scottish crowd's crazy for the battle rap. Like, beers going in there, they're banging on the walls, and it's something else. And I'd just been back in Glasgow. That was in Edinburgh, that one. And in Edinburgh, Tony D battled Respect BA, which was crazy. Yeah, oh my God. So you saw, I mean, you obviously were there for all those classics.
It was lucky, really, because I would have paid to go see that anyway. Deal battled Soul, O'Shea battled Evil. And actually, Scott Early battled Q Riot. Yeah. And it was the opener, and possibly the tryout for Don't Flop. And Q Riot's had a line where he said something about, something battle rap wise, your role. You work in a deli and you know your roles. And I was like, I'd had that one. I wish I had that one. But yeah, but it was really good, and the crowd was crazy. It was packed in. It was like a football match. It was crazy. Really good. Yeah.
I mean, and then the most recent battle online, at least, yourself versus Tongue Twister. This was a great. I mean, I was there actually, the Birmingham event, and it was a fantastic event. A great crowd, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a huge crowd. Yeah, it was good. It was a really good crowd, and like it was mixed crowd. It was people of different, it was like some students and then some keen rap fans or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, different. And but it was on a stage. I wasn't expecting that. So, and we had the microphone, and I've never had a mic before. But it was a good experience, definitely. And we were the opener. I think I started as well, so I think I opened it, and it was good. It was really good. But. Yeah.
And, most recently then, it just happened, just past weekend, you went to Iron Bars. and battled Scott Early, who've had on the show before, great friend of the show and stuff like that. How was the event? How was the battle?
It was good. It was good. The only problem for me was on. By the time the main event came on, it was like Friday night, and it must have been maybe I was on at like 11ish, and me, Scott Early, Bobby Rex versus Mackenzie main event at 12:30, so 11:30 to 1:45 maybe, and a lot of people had wandered off and got drunk, gone off with their pals at that point. So like the crowd had dwindled. Unfortunate, really. It's just a quirk of the, doing the nighttime one, especially Friday night. But it was good. Again, the keen crowd, and you got people who, they know your lines and stuff like that. Like they're quoting the bars from yesteryear, whatever. So, really good. Like I met some good MCs out there. People freestyling outside. Respect BA was hosting it as well, which was cool because I met him in the other battle in the Edinburgh thingy, but I got to chat to him more. And he's a clever guy. He's got some insight, definitely.
I had him on the show recently. He's the dude. Like, he's literally the guy. Like, such an interesting guy. And just like you say, insight. He's wise. Like, he's zen. Like, love the guy as well. There was a bit of didn't Bobby kind of choke unfortunately against Mackenzie? I heard.
It was a strange one. Bobby doesn't write. Apparently, he doesn't write his bars in it. In the old-fashioned sense, it's all in his head. The Jay-Z thing. So when he came to his last round, he couldn't get rid of the first bar. He didn't have any. He was looking at his phone, but he didn't have. So he phoned his pal, and in the meantime, Mackenzie goes. So Mackenzie does two, like his second round and his third round back to back, and his third round was fire actually. And then near the end. Bobby's pal, I think, is on the phone and gives him his first line. So Bobby jumps in and does his third round, which was good actually. So I don't know how they'll edit it. They might do the switch the rounds backwards in the editing, but it was interesting. It was a bit unusual. It was like a phone a friend thing. But I think on when they put the video, I'll be grand. And mine and Scott's, I made a couple of mistakes. I've changed my style a bit recently and done extending the rhymes. And there's a couple of bits dropped it, but luckily I managed to go back through and. Yeah, it was better. It was there, thank God. So it was a frightening moment where I thought it was gone, but it was there, thank God. And we got through, and Scott did great too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Looking forward to that one coming out. And like, do you have a master plan? Like, is there any kind of goals? Are you just going to continue to? Obviously, you love this thing. You're very good at it. Everyone loves to watch you. Sort of thing. Any sights on the championship or?
I mean, I would just keep going. I wouldn't look in that sense, but I would look to try and get a couple of battles which might put me closer to like the contender. Sorry, the main contender, etc. And also probably Canada. I'd like to get to Canada or anywhere, South Africa doing it, Sweden, Because when I went to Denmark, that opened my eyes. Because as I say, they weren't really fans of me, but they were fans of like Shuffle T and Peace Soldiers are like legends over there. And I'm thinking, poof, it's not a bad life, Yeah, I think Peace Soldier goes over a lot actually, and and I was like, this, and they paid for the trip. They're great guys, and same for Iron Bars, and I mean you can't knock it in a way. So I just like to make the most of it, and then as you say, maybe down the line, look for maybe I don't know about the championship, but maybe get there or thereabouts,
Yeah, no, definitely, man, definitely. And I think regardless of whatever, just keep doing these homonyms. Like that's all. That's just keep plowing away. I love this sort of stuff. And we'll wrap up with a few quick fire questions. The first one being, do you have a favourite Don't Flop battle?
Ooh, that would. Oh man, it would probably be for one from the beginning, which is kind of weird, but probably like O'Shea Chronicle. When it's like you found. What's the formative years, I should say. It's kind of like that because when it has a big effect on you, probably Chronicle and O'Shea, probably from way back when. And then there was also Monster Under the Bed, possibly against Pseudonym, was brilliant back in the day as well. I've not watched it for years, so I don't know how it would stand up these days. But as someone was starting out at that point, I thought, that's crazy. Truth against someone as well. Truth and Scissors, maybe was it? Oh yeah, Truth and Scissors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And King of the Dot.
King of the Dot. I like a new one. Ines against B Magic was brilliant. That's a new one. Yeah, I love that.
Great.
That is great. There's ones from back in the day like Soulcon and God, who was the little fella from Canada who shouted a lot? Oh, I can't remember, but he killed him with a Gary Coleman line or something like that. Different Strokes line. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
Briefly, that Canadian dude. I can't remember what his name is. Poe Rich.
Soulcon. Yeah. Okay. URL?
Ooh, possibly. There were some mad ones. Possibly. I used to love X Factor. X Factor and Averb was good.
Yeah.
And probably Averb, Hitman Holler. Probably is a classic of all time. I mean, that's too obvious. Yeah, that's incredible. That one. That's something else. That battle.
Yeah. It's definitely. And final two questions then, Jay. First one, your favorite film?
Ooh, probably either Dazed or Confused.
Great, yeah.
I like that movie. Or I like La Haine, that French movie with that guy Vince, who's famous now. He's like just set
Vince Cassel, yeah.
Yeah, it's just set around. It's set in one day, much like Days Confused, actually.
Yeah.
And it's just there's light bits and there's some dark bits and whatnot, but it's got a good soundtrack and whatnot. Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. And talking about soundtracks, your favorite band or musical artist, no way hip hop related?
Hip hop, probably the Pogues. I don't know if you know that. It's like an Irish London.
Of course, yeah.
Punk. Probably the Pogues, maybe. Yeah, I like the Coral too, actually, from the Wirral, but yeah.
Coral. What was it, Butterfly House? One of their recent albums, so good, like crazy shit. Yeah, real psychedelic stuff, aren't they? Really good.
Mega weird, yeah, and kept under the radar. Apparently they deliberately kept out if they didn't sign for any major. I don't know why they would do that. I would just take the money. I would sell out in a flash. But yeah, they kept true to the music, and they've been doing it for like years and years, doing it like that, which is cool.
Oh yeah, the main guy from them, Bill Ryder Jones. He has a great solo career as well. Really good. Highly West Kirby County Primary, one of his latest albums, really dope.
Yeah. You heard the Daniel song? You heard that one?
Oh, yeah. Belongs to the Ocean, yeah.
It's about round, I think, and it's kind of heartbreaking. But
yeah. It's a wonderful song, that is. Yeah, great tracks. But Jay, this has been dope, man. I guess finally, how do people get at you? Your social media, your music?
Oh yeah, you can just at JDillon0151 on Twitter, or just add me on Facebook, JAY Dillon on Facebook. And the YouTube, just again, I got a YouTube channel, just J Dillon. You can J Dillon Rap. You can find that on YouTube for sure, and definitely. But yeah, add me on Facebook.
All right, whatever. Brilliant. Well, Jay, this has been a treat, man. Thank you.
Indeed, thanks for having me. Battlerapresume. Yeah, it's been great, and thanks again.
Oh, of course.